Okay, call to order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's good to have residents here. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. We have a pretty quick meeting on tap, but thank you for being here. So approval of the bills. Have the trustees been able to look at the bills and any questions about the bills?
Nope.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for accepting the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, pass. And for the approval of the May 13th meeting minutes, any questions on the minutes? Any concerns, changes? Okay, I'll accept the motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from May.
I'll second.
I'll stand second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We have 2 seconds?
I think.
And a third.
Doubly good.
We're the best vote first. We're sure give her a good job.
Okay, reports. Mayor reports. Really, the grant is just kind of, I passed it along from last month. There hasn't been a lot of changes with the grants that we were going out for. Courtney, any updates on any of the grants that we've heard from anyone? I haven't heard anything from anybody on it.
No, there hasn't been a lot of updates on any of the grants. They're all in process. The one for the pavilion in the park, that one's, I always feel like it's getting to the end, but then they ask me for more information, but I think now all you need to do is submit the attorney's opinion. We should be good.
Okay, and then we'll close that grant out.
Yes, then
Okay.
we'll get the funds.
Good, all right.
When do those go?
They have a timetable for that, so after it goes through all their processes and red tape and.
So we don't have like standard
No.
dates, okay.
The money from the chip is separate, but the money from chips is on a timetable, so they're pretty good about doing it in certain periods. So you can let us know when it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just a couple of minutes on my miscellaneous. The substation project is still in works. As you've seen, some of the bills, some equipment continues to trickle in. I don't think we have a start date yet, Joe?
No.
Okay. Obviously, the weather does permit now, so we're hoping that we can get our equipment, and there's going to be a switchover of power from old line, or an old setup to a new setup, Joe? Is that the first step?
No, we've actually come off the old, and we're on a new now. But there will be a shutdown because we have to swing the national grid lines off the existing structure onto our new structure. So when we do that, there will be a complete system shutdown. And National Grid will be on hand. New York Power Authority will have to be here to
Sure.
hook up their metering. So it'll be quite involved, yeah.
Okay.
But we have a meeting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with National Grid.
Yep.
And that's where the holdup is right now.
Okay.
So hopefully we'll
The
find out.
shutdown will affect all of the village, right?
Yeah, but that's a ways, that's a
Yeah,
ways off.
It's a ways away, but we
It's a little
just
bit,
plenty
so-
of notice to notify everybody.
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
What time's that meeting, Laura?
9.
Okay. I attended the NIPA and MEAU annual meeting in Syracuse. Brought back a lot of great information. I'm trying to educate myself as much as I can on all of the systems such that are electrical within our village and how it works, and our partners that oversee us, and how New York State is functioning as well. It's quite educational for sure. I don't have an electronic background, so but it's very helpful to attend these and network with other municipalities in the area. Summer concert series finalized, so we have our dates. I gave everybody a little flyer that we're going to be sending around to. We're going to be passing them out at the Park Fest this weekend. Has all our concert series on there. We're hoping for good weather. It's going to be Wednesdays. There's a little bit of, weeks in between each one, which is nice. But we have a great lineup and hoping that all the families and residents can come out and enjoy. We do have food trucks set up as well, so it's going to be great. Just want everyone to come out and attend. And Renee is looking for any help at the Park Fest after the parade to hand out flyers. If any of you are around and you're up there, we have a tent, right? That our staff will be at, and just come on over, grab a handful, and go meet and greet. All right.
Before or after the,
Right after the parade. Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
are we dedicating them?
So that is on hold. We'll get to that. That's some new business. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Really, that's kind of it. You can read what I wrote, but I really do want to thank the village office staff for all their hard work and ensuring that the village residents' needs and concerns are addressed in a professional and timely manner. The village staff has done a great job preparing for Park Festival, getting our lawns moved, getting the park looking exceptional. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort. Sometimes it's not acknowledged, and I think it's important in these settings to make sure that the village staff get credit for putting in extra time and extra effort to help out and make this festival and this village really look great. So, any questions? Okay, Courtney?
All right, you'll have my report there in front of you. I'll just touch on a couple things. Well 9 is the company who put up the back pavilion. It's all set, however, they just need to stain it. So we're going to meet with them 9 a.m. on Monday to discuss the stain and the color. We'd like to stain it all one color on the outside, which is the tan that matches the bathroom. But we like the wood on the inside, so we want that stained clear coat. We're also going to talk about lights and electric, why they're there, so you can have some ideas for that.
Are there lights underneath it right now, or not?
There's nothing, there's no electric to it yet. There's conduit from the panel box
To it?
to it.
Oh, we don't have lights, okay.
Also, the Office of the Aging will be here again on July 2nd, and then for the whole day, but they'll be here specifically from 10 to 12 handing out farmers market coupons. Everybody's interested. And also, there will be after the farmers market handing out information and coupons on July 14th.
And have we posted that on our Facebook page and our website?
I don't
If
believe
not,
so.
can we make sure we do? Summer rec, you want to touch on that?
Yes, as you know, we've been looking for a new summer rec lead counselor. We had a baby, congratulations to her, of course. We selected a new person, her name is Natalie Utz. She's local, and but she's a 6th grade teacher at
We're so glad to have her.
We
As
are.
Our summer rec program can run. We were kind of fearful we weren't going to be able to run it this year, but she's excited about it. She lives local and she's a teacher, so it's going to be a
Nice,
great,
very
going to be a
good.
great
It all
program.
fell together really
Yeah.
well. We're just finishing up, we have one helper, we're just finalizing the second helper, and we should be all set. That's good. Mayor and I have a meeting on the 12th to
Friday.
discuss, this Friday, at 11:30, with the new Genesee County Housing Development Officer. So hopefully they can help out a little bit. His task is now to expand housing in Genesee County.
So is this development of the area
I think it's
adjacent
just
to the park there?
development within Genesee County and options and housing really, is in crisis throughout the county for low-income folks and folks who are trying to transition. It's, so I think this is a new position for the county. Yeah, so I think that position is being created to look throughout
I see.
all of the county to find and kind
Yep.
of survey what options might the county want to pursue. So that's my understanding. We're going to learn, so
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
let you know.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
Any other questions on the report?
Sorry.
Couple of things, Courtney. I want to acknowledge, along with the DPW crew, the great job they always do. Renee and Courtney, all the beautiful flowers you planted all around the village. They were instrumental in seeing that was done. So Courtney, thanks for going over and above, and Renee also, so thank you. And the other thing, Courtney, could you just give us a quick, what went on at the DEC inspection for the sewer plant?
Sure. There wasn't really anything major that was there. The couple things that stick out, the polymer that we use, they feel that we should, there's a approval process that they said we did not go through for the polymer, but Chris remembers that us going through that process, so it's just talking with Eric Weiss to get that documentation. Otherwise, it's just, it's not a major thing, it's just going through and getting approval. But we also want to do that too for the different chemicals that we're going to use, that we got quotes for, and are going to be cheaper.
Okay.
Besides that, of course, they talked about being a 3A plant and having our 3A operator is Rick out of Albion.
Mhm.
So we have Chris as a 2A and Eric as a 2A. So they really want us to have one of our own people, 3A. We've been working on it. It's not like we haven't. Eric's building up his hours. Chris is working on the test. Main things and other small things like there's a sign with an old phone number on it to update. I'm sure the county's working on that sign now.
Okay.
But ultimately, it was really good.
Good inspection, okay, thank you. That's all right.
Okay. CEO, ZEO report?
No question.
Any questions on those? These are all the permits?
Yeah, I assume the firework one is for up in front of the farm market.
Yep,
Okay.
that's right.
Park Fest, right?
No.
No.
Oh, fireworks tent,
Fireworks
okay.
tent,
Yeah, we sell it in front of the farm market.
Do they have a fireworks permit to blow them off? Is that something?
For the
park fest?
Yes.
They do?
Yeah, we provide that to them.
It has nothing to do with our zoning guy or anything?
No.
Okay, very good. Okay, any questions on any of the reports? Okay, I'll accept the motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the officers' reports.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, trustee concerns. I'll start with Bob. Anything?
Okay. Went to George Borello's discussion
Yep.
last month that he had at the Bergen Town Hall. His time was limited, he only had an hour, and I mean, they really hold to an hour. And there were a lot of things that came up, but for the most part, it was people from Alabama that were complaining about their
The stamp.
the same stuff that's going on in a data center. And I can't blame them because there's, it does take a lot of territory. It takes it's a lot of noise, and so, they were criticizing the process. And he was really good about it. He said, look, if I'm missing something here, if I'm not seeing this correctly, then give me your information that you have. Let me know. And they were saying, well, that the village, the planning board or the town planning board was doing this. He said, I don't know any of that. So give me information and I'll digest it. So I think it was pretty good. But I brought up the point about the solar panels and how we're inundated with them and how we get no benefit from them at all. And he said it's absolutely true. Everything is going downstate, and the reason they're targeting Alba and Byron is because those power lines, the big major power lines, go right through there. But he said this is scary. The ORS, he said they circumvent DEC, they circumvent everything.
Right.
And just to push these things through. So it's unfortunate that we are living in a time where they just don't even care about seekers and stuff, they just kind of just bulldoze right over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my takeaway from
Yeah.
George Borrello.
Yeah, I attended as well.
Yeah.
There was a nice showing of residents there
Yeah.
voicing their concerns.
Yeah.
You would think that with solar panels so close, we'd have some benefit, as
Yeah.
a community, but there really isn't. There's no
Well,
benefit. It goes to the grid.
Heard through the grapevine, Sally, being head of the library board, heard that Byron got $1 million
Oh,
recently,
yeah. Okay.
so,
Yeah, they're gonna get that every year, I believe.
yeah.
It's their host community agreement.
Yeah, so for what that's worth, I don't know what it goes, who knows, so.
So I've mentioned with Courtney about the village and possibly asking for a moratorium within our village district on solar panels.
Yeah,
I'm not sure there's room where a company would be wanting to come and use our space, but I do know there is space still up there.
it's amazing. Well, I have to bring up at my meeting on Saturday at Silver Lake, they actually passed that they're approving panels on water. Which means they can put them on every lake, any river, yeah, on water. I mean, it's serious stuff, people. Yeah. So
that will
that's all I have.
be something that Courtney and I will discuss, and we'll bring it to the board if it's a decision that we want. Unless the board have any comments or concerns about it, we can certainly put it on an agenda item, but we'd have to, reach out to the residents and make sure that it was something the community wanted.
Yep.
You never know, right?
Yeah. You know.
I believe the town passed a moratorium, right, of Bergen. I was just not thinking really that we had the room, but there is a plot of development up there, so you never know.
Okay, that's all I had.
I was told they had to be 100 acres or more before the state could
100 acres?
could come in, and
Yeah.
there's no 100 acres there, so
There's not, there's about 80 though, isn't it?
62, I think,
Yeah,
62.
that scares me though too.
It's zoned residential, but if it was bigger, then
Yeah.
Bob said, or could come over.
The state just
Take it
overrides, you
override,
know.
Yeah.
yeah.
And moratoriums.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Is that it, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, Todd?
Recently, I spoke to a few residents who live out on Buffalo Road, out past the bowling alley.
Yep.
And their concerns were what happened to the speed sign, and I explained how we had to take them down.
Right.
The state giving us crazy regulations on
Yeah.
putting them up.
Right.
There are, obviously have concerns with the speed of the traffic that's running through there. I mean, I walk that stretch every morning, and
It's full speed.
I see people
Yeah.
going through there 50, 60 miles an hour. They're obviously concerned. I don't know, our hands are kind of tied with getting law enforcement to set up a radar through there.
Yeah.
That's about all we can do.
So I talked to the sheriff of the county a week and a half ago and asked him if we could set up a meeting to just go over the village use of additional patrols. Every year we kind of add, there's a budget line where we approve extra patrols throughout the village. In times past, it hasn't always been used because the short staffing of the sheriff's department.
Right.
It's based on officers kind of taking half shifts or extra shifts. But it can be used, and I'll set up a meeting with the sheriff's department to go over that issue. I do know the state police also patrol the 33 up there, and I've seen them up there,
Mhm.
but, after they're gone, the next guy comes through and hits it.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Actually, there was one right here in the village earlier today.
yeah, there is one sign coming in south to north, right? That's still working, the speed,
We had to take it down,
the one up by the cemetery?
yeah, DOT,
When?
we had to take it down.
It had to be recent.
A month or so ago.
Maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
But, I mean, obviously, and I understand their concerns. I mean,
Yeah.
they live in a residential area, and then you've got people going
Sure.
through there twice the posted speed.
Right,
So,
okay,
We took those signs and put them on Munger Street.
okay.
The batteries were, one was dead on them, rechargeable batteries.
Mhm.
They just came in yesterday, day before. And the guys
On Munger?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. At least they're in use.
We had a lot of village residents complaining about Munger Street too.
Yeah,
So that's why.
yeah, there's a few
We
streets.
had to move from, so that's.
Playing on my street.
Yeah, every street, right?
Every street, yeah, it's not fun. Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay,
Thanks,
Joy.
Mike.
No, I'm good.
Okay, bring it up.
I had, my notes were easy. Beehives, I was noticing there were beehives in a couple of the gazebos.
No?
Can we spray the beehives, or
We
did you
could.
guys look for them?
Like in the pavilions?
Yeah, the pavilions. I think the one I noticed was maybe the one down at that corner. That-
Oh, the gazebo
Gazebo?
in the park up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
beside there, sitting
Yeah,
there.
it's in summer.
And then I wondered, did we have a little dog station right here across the street?
Not in Zuber.
We never
No.
did? Oh, had multiple people ask me, and then also when we were walking the dog, oh, it'd be nice to have a little dog station. Otherwise, that was it.
Okay. Is there a possibility, Courtney, to look into something?
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
So just,
I'll make a proposal to put a doggy station in Zuber Park.
well, again, I don't know how much they cost, like in the bags.
Yeah, I mean,
and-
at least
No
to
idea.
go out for a cost, you know, that's what
Yeah.
I'm suggesting.
What does that involve? Just
We may have an
fence-
extra one
Fence an
somewhere.
area with.
No, no.
No, it's just a
Dispenser
bowl
for
with
the
a
bags
dog.
and a receptacle
With a
for
bag.
the trash.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a number of them, I don't remember what they cost off the top of my head.
Do we
Are
have
they
anything like
helpful,
that in the
Steve?
park?
Yes.
You do, okay.
They are.
They are very
Yeah.
helpful.
And they're very well used.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
I
walk
very
most
rarely
of the
use
village.
them, but I see people use them, so yes.
I can,
Yeah, I use them. Okay, so we'll have Courtney either find one or look for a cost of one. See, put it on the agenda next month.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You commented bees, are they wasps or bees? Because if they're bees, is there a way we can just
Save them?
save them and relocate them? If they're wasps, I don't care.
I don't.
No, that's, I'm just curious, so if there was.
It's a great question, yeah.
As far
I
as
agree.
bees are concerned and flowers.
Yeah.
I know other animals do things too, but, thank you.
Okay. No other concerns, we'll move on to, we have one new business and one old business. So designation of surplus, it's a fuel tank and a zero-turn mower. Courtney?
Right, so the fuel tank, you know how old was that fuel tank, 40 years old, something?
Yeah.
So it was, that and the pump were getting bad, and there's a lot of sediment in the bottom, so we wanted to replace it. So we got a new one, so this old one can be sent to, I don't know who's gonna wanna buy it, but you never know, so it's worth putting on auction. And then there's a zero-turn mower, we buy one new mower every year, we have two, so they're 2 years old when we replace them, so this is the, we did get the new one in, so we're ready to send that one to auction.
So it's not like we're lacking one, we're one ahead.
That's right. We have three right now, and this
Okay.
we'll take out of service, clean it up, and get pictures and put it online.
Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion that we designate fuel tank and the zero-turn mower as surplus, send it to auction.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passed. Okay, last meeting, we discussed designating the fire departments, or designating the new pavilion and to the fire department, the Bergen Fire Department. We'd like to give them recognition for all of their volunteer work and all of their efforts throughout our community. I believe the old pavilion was also
It was.
Designated to the fire department, so everything's up and new, but we have a little problem up there because there's no real space to put a plaque. The last one had a large sign kind of type thing that was able to be very visible, and the size was appropriate, and the old pavilion had no wall space, I guess. The new pavilion is 4x4s and it's really tall. So putting a sign up like in the rafters, nobody's gonna see it. So we've asked for several ideas about what type of plaque we could use up there to designate to the fire department. And what we're finding is that these plaques or monuments of some type are quite costly. If you want something that's going to be permanent and time-lasting, you have to invest a little bit of money. We have a couple ideas. One is kind of a ground plaque that's made out of brass set in cement that can be dedicated to the fire department. We want to eliminate tripping hazards, those kinds of things, so it's more or less a flat entity. I believe that cost, Courtney, came back at $2,500.
Yeah. That's just for the plaque.
That's just for the plaque. So we've also tossed around, if you look up at the memorial to the servicemen, there's kind of a tombstone-like thing with, recognition and stuff. So we're putting out for a bid on the cost for something like that. My concern is that the pavilion will be used for like park festival and picnics and kids running around, and I'm trying to not have something that's going to be maybe pulled down by somebody or hit, or, I just see a lot of problems with something like that, if it's not roped off, much like the memorial is. So we're looking for ideas. I don't want to hang a plaque of some kind on a 4x4 where someone can just rip it off. Steve?
What about a park bench
Park bench?
that you have
Yep.
other people with their loved ones, that you
Yep.
have it on the back of?
Wonderful idea. Haven't
And
thought
then
of
it's
that.
somewhere situated.
Yep. Cost for those, Courtney?
Well, are they all bolted
It
down?
might be a little cheaper than the brass.
Are they?
The benches are about $1,200, and then the plaques are about $150.
That's a good idea. Plus the concrete.
Slightly off to the side, but not
No,
blocking
that's not
everybody's
good.
view, but.
And having a bench over there might be a great idea.
Yeah.
There's one on the other side of that big tree.
Yeah.
Right.
What about those
And-
signs like, that you see around the village where there's the one where the guy rescued somebody on a horse or whatever?
Like a pole with a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm proposing it to you guys, and all kinds of ideas.
I kind of like the big stone we have with the thing embedded in that. Nobody's gonna move a stone.
Right.
That's true.
good.
Can the funeral home help with that kind of pricing?
There's monument companies that we would go out and we'd do a bid, yeah.
You have several woodworker people here
Mhm.
in town.
In the community.
Andrew, Fink,
Mhm.
whatever,
Okay.
next door, Millers. Maybe they could do something on the pole, or, wood
Some type
design.
of, yeah, more permanent hardwood type thing.
But, yeah, something kids aren't gonna.
The cemetery sign for St. Bridget's,
Okay.
they wanted $3,000 for it. Who's in charge of the cemetery? It was sign language down in Perry. And Andrew did it for me for $400.
Oh, boy.
So he bought a multi-layered PVC, I believe it is. And so as you mill through the top layer of white, you get green or blue or whatever on the inside. And like I said, $400, it's like, wow, So, and it, we had the cost of posts and stuff, but it was a lot better than $3,000.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, there are people that have that ability around here. He's got a CNC machine and.
Great ideas.
I just gave him a CAD file and away he went.
Okay. Anyway, we can certainly save money, so I'm not sure how to put this out to the community, but, but we'll have to just, Courtney and I will have some discussions about how to open it up, but I love all the ideas. All of those are viable. I think the benches go along with the decor up there anyway. We put a bunch, we'll go out for bid on one of those possibly and go from there. Any other thoughts on it? Okay. So the fire department's been informed, we're delaying it a little bit. Okay, they were ready to, partner with us on park days, and my hope was that we'd have a big crowd up there, but it kind of delays it a little bit. Yes, ma'am?
Just an idea, but I got my brother's grave marker from Pinterest.
Pinterest, really?
Yeah, it was really reasonable, and they got all sorts of things on there.
Okay, was it like a flat marker? Or?
Yeah, it had his
Okay.
picture on it, and it was like $200. It was black with his picture and engraving and stuff.
There's got to be better cost-effective ways to get these things, so, all right, great. All right, we'll go back to the old drawing board. We do have a parks committee that, is trying to look into these things for us, so hopefully we'll we'll find something relatively short and be able to dedicate that pavilion. Yeah, maybe one of our concert series nights or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Okay, anything else from the board? Okay, privilege of the floor. Thanks, folks, for coming. Questions, comments?
I'll start. Nobody else wants to start?
Sure.
I'm Kelly Hollenbeck. I live over in Kmart.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi. I want to thank you all for recording the meetings and putting them up on YouTube. I've looked at them sporadically here and there just to keep tabs on what's
Sure,
going on.
absolutely.
But I took an especially close look since there have been some issues with, concerns about the electric bills and whatnot. So I watched from January all the way on through, did the whole series. And there were some questions and things that had come up during those meetings that, I know you got a lot of questions during those meetings, but there were some that I didn't see any answers to or responses to, so
Okay.
I've written some of those down. I'd just like to follow up on those.
Absolutely.
One of which was during the March meeting, Joe, you indicated that you had called for a cost of service study. What's the status in regards to that?
Gordon can answer that.
Yep, so we talked to Jim Stokes, who was at that March meeting. He's the head of MUA in NIMPA. We're trying to find accounting firms who can do that kind of work, because there's not a lot of ones out there who do municipal electric accounting. The best one that's out there is the one who does ours. So we're trying to find somebody else to do that for us. So when in that, and we want to send out the RFP, the request for proposal, for the basic quote, when we know we're probably not going to get anybody back. So if we find a few agencies who do that, firms that do that, then we'll send the RFP and we'll send it to them, and so make sure they get it and we can bid on it. So that's where that is right now.
And the board's approved that, so,
Okay.
We're more than willing to have an outside audit come in and look at anything that they want to, and so that we can rest, all the concerns of the residents. So as soon as we
In the
get those
works.
proposals, it'll be done.
There was another question asked about the P-PAC, if it could be separated into residential or industrial, commercial, so we can see.
That's a question I don't know. Courtney, is there a way to get an answer from that, or
Well,
do you know, or?
I honestly, I think with the status of the PSC, I think when they look through there, that might be something they look at. Besides that, we were to go out and try to do that separately from that, but I would suggest, waiting for the PSC to do their investigation first and see what they bring up. And then if they do, then we don't have to allow the pay to have that money.
Right.
So I think what Courtney's saying is that there's the complaint that was submitted to the Public Service Commission is open. We have responded with our openness and willingness to comply with any needs that they have for us. So we're awaiting their response. They've sent us one email saying they've received the complaint, but they have not given us any indication of what the next steps will be for us or with us. So at this moment, the only comments I'm making about that is we're not going to comment while there's an open PSC complaints. So, and hopefully all of those questions will be wrapped up, because I believe all of those line items will be in that complaint.
And this one isn't necessarily on something that was mentioned back then, but I'm wondering about the actual business park. Do you have any idea if there are any more businesses planning in there in the future? And I know that there's also industrial zoning across the street there too.
So as of today, there's been no inquiries to the village from any commercial businesses adding into the business park up there that I haven't received any notice or
Is that something like, if GCEBC has something in the works, do they notify you?
They typically, I believe,
it's kind of annoying sometimes because we have a tendency to create things second or third hand. Because the zoning is county urgent, so last Jesus approaches us and says, this is happening, your supply is whatever. We've got a few cases when they're getting off the coast straight ground. But from what I understand from these conversations is that it's full.
And I know our electric franchise includes that area that this is part of. But it does not go beyond that, and there's no chance that it would,
No.
correct?
The franchise was established, you know, 80 years ago, 100 years ago. So, I mean, it's just been on our, it's been our franchise area for, and it goes all the way down past the Robin Gun Club, doesn't it, Robin?
There was two of
It goes to the Robin Gun
but
Club.
only on that side of the road.
So there's a, it's a.
Maybe the other side too.
Well, it's not
Going,
yeah, further up, it's kind of that.
Do you guys have the maps for those? So I pulled the deeds, and the maps are not attached to anything. So I talked to the commission, they don't have the maps, they said they've asked for the maps, they have nothing, provided the maps. And he was shocked when I said how big it was. When I talked to the commission, it was not their understanding that it was going to be that big.
You're telling me the franchise map?
Yeah, like the franchise map, where we're saying these lines are, I mean, there were no buildings there, so it's confusing as to how we were tied to them, because they were only lots of land. It wasn't like it was, we were powering anything. And what we were powering in 1999, when we asked to recertify, was the same things we were powering in 1945. So how we expanded is, and that is not just the village. I think this is a commission problem too of, you know, regulating what is going on. And I don't know if confusion has happened there or how that all happened, but the maps don't seem to exist. I mean, I've asked you for them, I went to the county clerk, I was able to get all the deeds.
I thought I sent a map over to you for the MRB. There's a map that was done a long time ago by MRB that's.
There
not
was
a-
one, but
not a
it's actually
certified map.
this side of Bergen.
Yeah, it's so, and we've talked to National Grid about it too, and Power Authority.
Yeah, and the commission, they said they don't have meters, so I foiled them asking them for those maps. Because without those maps, where did this approval come from? And it just looks to me like it's just growing.
Well, the hope is they can resolve that for us in this manner. It'd be great.
There's documentation in the Public Service Commission
I
findings.
pulled it.
You should have that. I know you foiled it.
And
And
I pulled
it says
the
right
maps
in
are
there
gone.
that that is our area, part of the Blue Farm.
It
and our-
says- it
Our boundary
says-
goes out like,
It
almost like
says
2
you
miles out
conserve
each
the
way.
area as it was in 1945, as it was. So
Right.
that could mean, that whatever you were connected to, that's it. That doesn't mean like to take the whole
Well,
property.
it's a wording definition that's, you know.
It's spelled out.
That seems like it was taken advantage
It's
of.
spelled out the Blue Farm.
But
And-
so that's my question,
Okay.
is there, I mean, there's no way, and the thing is on that documentation, the only thing missing is the maps.
Right,
Everything else is there,
yeah.
but the maps. So, I mean, if you survey, so I'm actually going to the DOT next, because the I-90 actually took some of that property was all busted apart before 1950. It wasn't even Blue, only had a little, they were parceling it already. And it was actually Kaiser and Blue, that Liberty actually is sitting right in, on both of them.
Okay.
But, so, I mean, that's, if you guys come across it,
Sure.
I'm definitely interested in, like, you know, where those maps, you know.
Any
All
other
I
questions?
all I can say is it went to court, and the court ruled that was our franchise area. National Grid was trying to take that over, and there was a big court battle, and the court,
Do you know when that was, Joe? Like year-wise, maybe?
1999.
99? The court?
And it was contested, and then the second time it was
Yeah,
uncontested.
but they ruled in that it was the Village of Bergen's franchise area, and Grid had to get out of there, because they were trying to supply it,
But we weren't hooked up there,
but it was our area.
and we weren't hooked up to the pavilion either, where the pavilion is either. And so my
No.
question is here we are.
There you go. Why is that our power now? Because National Grid had to get out of there by the court ruling.
All right, and I understand that, but the point is, the village has not, have not grown. We have not gotten more hydro. We are claiming a franchise that is 3 times the size of this village, and we haven't gotten an ounce more. If we were getting more hydro, I'd say, hey, have at it, but we're not.
That's out of our control.
But no,
That's the power authority.
But that's the thing,
That's
is,
not
it is
us.
under our control.
No, it
You
isn't.
guys, as the board, it's under your control.
No, it isn't, believe me.
Somebody made a decision to say okay to all this, and when I talked to the commission, and when I was talking to him, he said, yeah, that's all questionable. I said, we've got property that's completely surrounds this village.
Again, the hope is there's an open complaint. We'll let the commission look at all these matters. I'm sure they'll be in contact with you and have conversations. And we're serving our franchise area as it sets today according to our legal mandates, and we'll continue to do so.
Okay.
If
And
they
in
change,
regards to
we'll
that-
certainly do that.
So,
Can you wait just 1 second? I want to
Yeah.
make sure Kelly's done with your
Yep,
questions.
I'm
Okay,
okay.
very good, thank you.
so taxes.
Taxes,
Like how do we pay, or how is that paid for?
what's that?
The business park. So when there's not enough money to, like that substation, when there wasn't enough money to do all that work over there, where did any extra money come from? Did we end up paying stuff in taxes? I mean, because the substation was for, it is well documented that that substation was for that business park, it was not for us. So,
No, that's not correct.
That's not true.
The substation.
show
Our
you
substation's 40 years old.
40 to 50 years
It's
old.
time to replace it.
but every piece of documentation says that with the power grid being, the power being pulled the way it is for that business park and new businesses going in and Oxbow going in there was why, and I can show you document
Okay,
after
so
document.
again, I gotta go back to the open complaint. We'll let you and the commission.
Well, that's a
and
new
the
question. The taxes aren't in the complaint.
Yeah, so
So I'm just wondering, did we help pay for some of that?
No,
Where
the
does it come from?
tax money is never commingled with any other funds. So we have 3 funds, so we have the electric fund, the general fund, which is, you know, taxes, and then sewer, which is, so each fund is funded, well, separately, and funds cannot be commingled between the 3 funds.
Okay.
So taxes money can't go towards those things.
So it just comes from the electric department, basically? Okay. That was my question.
Any other questions? Anybody?
Well, I just thought of one because you mentioned solar. I own the building next door and I looked into solar panels, but they said the electric here cannot accept electric from solar panels, I was told.
That's
Is that
correct.
true?
That's true.
Like-
As a municipal, we're not obligated to have solar tied into our system.
You can have solar on your house and or business or whatnot, and have it feed your house, it just can't come onto
Yeah.
our infrastructure.
You can't have net metering or we would pay you.
Right, that could do it into like a battery thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, thank you.
But there are some zoning regulations around that too, you'd have to look into if you were gonna put it on your house.
Who is the audit? Who does our annual reports? It's PSD that does the annual reports?
Yes.
And who oversees all the electric, like manages the billing and all that stuff?
I mean, I guess it's me.
An agency, you mean?
So like the P-PACs, when we get all our numbers, who puts all that stuff together and then, you know, is it multiple people? Is there like multiple?
There's 3 of us in the office, and, you know, have things that we do for that, and then, you know, the PPAC always goes, goes to the PSC for approval.
Every month.
Every month
Yeah,
before we.
the PSC looks at all of it every month before we send out the bills.
Okay. And the question is like billing errors. So the Rex and Zex and the CES would be a billing error. And after I spoke with the commission, it does look like that it's on the P-PAC and it's also in our bills. And it's one or the other. So, and I noticed this month it was still in our bills and it was still in the P-PAC. That seems to me that that is not something we have to wait for audit. You know, billing errors should be corrected. If that, you know, that needs to be rectified and corrected, because it's only causing more debt later, the longer that it goes.
Well, we pull that, it's in the PPAC, but we pull it out and separate it in the bills. It's just, we made that decision when the Bergen first came out, because we didn't want customers to think that we were increasing the rates because, you know, there's these programs, but the state was putting in, forcing the whole state to put in place for every electric customer. So we wanted to show that and say, look, this is this and this is why, so we break it out.
But we wouldn't be able, so if we do it that way, then we can't have a CES line item in the P-PAC. Because it's the same thing. CES is the organization. Rex and Sex are what we pay for. We pay for Rex and Sex. And the NYMPA bill, you subtract it, then you do it per kilowatt hour for what we use, and then you put it in our bills. But then it gets added to the P-PAC too on a line item, so we're paying it twice.
Well, on the PPAC that we send to the PSC, it's on there. But then when it goes to, when putting it in the billing system, it gets broken out. So it's removed from the PPAC and, I mean, on its own line item.
And so do you have reconciliation paperwork that, so wait, you're saying it, then that would make the math on our bills all, or on the P-PAC all wrong. So if I took, when I take that P-PAC and I break that down, if you're taking it out and then sending it, or you're sending it to them that way and then taking it out, that I don't know if that makes sense. Do you reconcile where you show that you do that, is what I'm asking? Like financially, we can't, I can't subtract something from my account and then not show what I did with it. Every dollar should be followed from the time that it is handed over or costed all the way through the system, and it should be easily followed when it comes to accounting. If things are going in and then they're subtracted when it goes to the PSC, that needs to be documented somewhere. Like, how do you document that? All right, we've made the because that number for that P-PAC, when you include it, is what we get charged on our bills. So the end of at the end, when it's all said and done, that number is on all our bills. So if I take a P-PAC and I look at what that total number is with the CES, that is the exact number that is on my bill. But then also the Rex and Zex is the exact number on my bill. So it's double charging it because it doesn't get removed from the P-PAC when it goes out on our bills. Go take any bill and then just look at
I'll
your.
look at it in the morning. It was my understanding that it's being taken separated, but I'll double check.
Yeah, I don't think, and I literally took all them and busted them all down, and it's right, if you take the P-PACs and you take our bills, and I use my bill as an example, it adds up, that it is being taken.
We'll have Courtney look at it.
Is
and-
something the software does? Or software?
I think we enter it, I'm not sure. But it's all in the billing software, yeah.
Okay.
But every month, the PPAC is different, so you have to enter it in there.
So we'll report back next month on that. Right. And if there is, anything that needs to be rectified, we'll be
Absolutely.
Steve?
Two things. I know I chatted with someone years ago. We can't opt out of our garbage. That's an extra 200 and something on my bill this month. And I don't use it. I wouldn't use recycling if I didn't have that on my bill. And I know you say it's broken down for all the residents in Bergen, and but why can't I just opt out of it? And I know if they say, well, if other people did, and people would be putting trash in somebody else's bin or whatever, but
Which was a problem, pretty consistent back in the day, Steve. You remember the bags, and
Yeah.
you remember, shared bins and all
Yeah,
those
well,
kinds of things.
the garbage bag, $1.50,
Yep.
$2 for the bigger one and stuff like that, but.
I was also someone who used a dump outside of the village, and
Right.
I enjoyed that too. But
So-
I don't know, I know yearly we go out for bid for garbage removal, right? And it's a
Every 3
tax
years.
line item.
Mhm.
So it's a tax line item, not a ratepayer item, that is, passed every resident. I don't know if there's been discussion about ways to have people opt out, but I think universally, it's cost effective for the residents in mass.
And that's right.
What happens, Steve, if enough people opt out, then we can't fund the trash pickup. That's why the bags failed. Because people bought, the more you raise the price of the bags, less people bought them. Okay, so we weren't taking in enough revenue to offset what was costing for the disposal service to come and get rid of the garbage.
If you go-
Then general fund had to subsidize it. So everybody's tax dollars had to subsidize, the shortfall.
And it's probably cheaper with everybody together
Yeah,
than one person.
exactly.
I understand that, I just, they don't use it.
I agree. I agree.
But with that, secondly, the $175 every 3 months for sewage, because it's based on how much water I might bring into the house, and I commented to Mr. Fleming about, well, I'm not always putting that into the sewer, I might be washing the semi, or, you know, the lawn, or whatever, and other things that, well, it's not all just going into the Bergen sewer down over and across the tracks and to the water treatment center, but yet that's 175 times 4. And that's a lot of money when it used to be 115 and others, and it's, things are going up, I get that, but how do you know that all the money, the water that I'm bringing in monthly from the water authority, H2O authority, justifies for the 175? And I don't know how that was developed or breakdown of
Yeah,
that.
that was way before my time, that was, that was set up, but I would imagine it's the only way for them to really gauge. We had with the report from the Monroe County Water Authority, so I think that's probably the only reason, the way they could gauge how much how much your usage was. Without, the other option would probably be putting a meter on the other end of seeing how much goes out. And they probably didn't want to, install meters. I don't know how a sewer meter like that would work, but I would assume that they just chose that way for ease of use.
Just no other way to do it.
And Steve, we've had ongoing discussions for months about our condition of our sewer system throughout the village. I mean, the system was put in the 80s, and it was ineffective and inefficient back then. The piping system was too small to actually have appropriate exit waste and those kinds of things. So it requires us as a village to pump your tanks on a regular basis, clean them out, hopefully salvage them and keep them running as long as we can. Some have been in the ground 30, 40 years, you know, which means throughout the whole village, there's gonna come a time when those things are gonna start breaking down. We do have some funds in the reserve for those times, you know, maybe, and we've talked about what do we do? Do we flatten them, put new ones in? How do we, you know, some people have built patios over them, and I mean, it's just a mess out there in a lot of ways. So we're trying to come up with ideas to save money in the sewer system. The chemicals that we have to use to treat the wastewater that's going down to the plant the chemical costs have probably tripled in the last 1.5 to 2 years, from maybe, just example, 5,000 to like 25,000. So those costs have gone up.
Right, but a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
before it was just 175,
Right.
again, it was $100 or 115
Yeah.
or 135, based on how much water I brought in
Right.
every 3 months from the water authority.
Now
But
it's
that
just-
doesn't mean that all that water is going into your system.
Right.
Yet I was billed 135 because I did 10,000 gallons. Now it's just a plain 175, but there might be an even higher number if I go over a certain intake of water. And it just sounds like, oh, okay, we just made a number and that's what we're gonna charge.
Have those rates
But-
been established by the board? What you're saying, the 175 is everybody universally? And
No,
then
there's 4 categories,
Okay. I just
depending
don't
on
know.
usage.
Sorry.
And that's where I don't even know why I'm in that 175 category. It's just been 175. I haven't come here to ask, well, if I only use 5,000 gallons, you know, that month or 3 months, then my bill would be lower. I haven't really investigated, so I guess I'm,
So every October, we get a report from Monroe County Water Authority, and it shows everybody in the village how much water they consumed. And so that's what the, if you look on the back of your.
Individually,
Your
you're
bill.
saying?
Yeah, individually, so if you look on the back of your bill, it'll show 4 different categories of how much you use, so, you're putting that category based on how much water.
But that's what I'm saying, you're saying I'm using that much because that's what the water authority shows to you, yet not all that water is going into your sewer system, causing you to have to clean or, you know, chemicalize the water that I've used, because a lot of it's going just into my grass and ground for washing vehicles and other things, so.
Steve, how would you calculate how much you're putting on the lawn?
Well, that's.
How would you know?
I'm very sparse,
Yeah.
if I needed to do that, I guess I would
So
go
every
and.
resident would have to do, you know, it's.
Right,
can't
and
do it,
like you
gotta
said,
go
put
by
a
the-
meter on it, but you're just saying, okay, you used 10,000 gallons today.
Well, I know.
And
It's
Sure,
a meter
I bet
coming
you,
in here.
you got a pool.
I was gonna say, people
I
that have
just
a
put,
pool.
I just put
40,000
probably 4,000
gallons
gallons in my pool a
Right.
couple days ago.
Yeah.
You probably did the same thing.
I did.
We're gonna get hit next part of our
Yeah,
average.
and we just, it
But-
is, and I got all them trees, I water them all,
But it's
I'm all
not going
year.
into the.
So it is what it is.
So-
But no, but
There you go.
if you do have a time when you dump your pool and you're filling it back up and you're using your hose or whatever it is, you can call and let us know, and let us know how much it is, because there's been a number of times where we've done that where, you know, if you're gonna use a considerable amount of water.
It's like 40,000 gallons.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, just call us know, so then we can, you know, reduce that from
Well,
our
I-
usage.
Okay.
Personally, when it.
Not to put that into your average, basically.
Yeah,
That's-
because it's not, I mean, it's just not fair to, I mean, $40,000, 40,000 gallons, which you're in a way higher category, so we try not to do that. We had, where, Bergen's had that water leak, and they had, I mean, their water consumption was like hundreds of thousands of gallons, because there was they had an old water line going from the house to a garden that wasn't there anymore, and somebody turned something on in the house, and it would just, garden hose would just emptying out to the lawn for,
I had a
long
broken
time.
hot water tank and it was leaking for a couple weeks and I didn't know. When I got the water bill, I was like, why? And they gave me a grace one-time pass on that for the water that I actually sadly wasted, that leaked out and then some pumped into the, you know. But the other part, last year or 2 years ago, they were down our street pumping, and I came out to the guys in the sewers, the 2 sewer grates,
Yep.
and I said, stuff's coming back into the toilet, and they're like, what? And I said, yeah, somehow your pushing is blowing it in through the toilet, and maybe in the bathtub, there was stuff coming up, and they shut it down. They said, well, we'll have to stop for now. So I didn't know if that was reported to you guys, that Leroy Street had an issue, and
yeah, that was during a time when we were like testing our lines and checking some stuff, and repairing some of the lines, so that, and the same thing happened over, at, Vander's, where we did that, and, so, yeah, they stopped it.
I just never checked and
Yeah, it's not.
caught up with, did you guys hear about that day? And lastly, with that, and it's Byron and Chris Ariaratnams, theirs is constantly, I don't know what happened with the sewage, that now their basement is constantly pushing out water, and I know they've talked and had issues. Something was rerouted, and so now their basement is, there's some pumps constantly running. If you walk by their house or drive by, you'll see it's going into the.
Which house is this?
Storm sewer.
12.
Okay.
In the corner.
Yeah. Byron. Yeah.
Chris and Byron's. But with that, my basement's always wet, but.
Everything
but-
runs right to your street, you know, the whole,
Oh, yeah.
the whole village runs right there and gets across the tracks.
It's not
there.
called Spring Street for no reason.
It's
I
Spring Street.
get it. I just-
When we cleaned out the pipes down there, they were so messed up and the roots were.
Right, but I didn't know what
it's-
happened now
everything
that
rose.
they're still getting it. At
It's-
one point, it did slow down, but now if you walk
Yeah.
by, it's just flowing. So,
Yeah.
and I know they're not here, but I'm just
Yeah.
curious if
Yeah,
anybody.
Byron's talked to me about that a lot,
So-
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
One more thing.
Yep.
So I know, Caperso, you were looking into, on one of the meeting things, that looking into the sewage. like to get a grant or something to update our septic systems or the thing?
Yeah, we're trying to put together a package of information because we met with Eric Weiss, our engineer, and as they spoke about earlier, we're spending a lot on chemicals and stuff because the state has us at a very low phosphate level that we're allowed to put out. So we're attempting to get information out to people so that we're using the best soaps for that, so that we're not using phosphate soaps. Also, have people checking, speaking of sewers and septics, making sure that we don't have some pumps tied into our laundry tubs, because that goes right to the treatment plant. So when we get a lot of rain, we get inundated with water that we don't need to treat. And we've got laundromat next door too that would be advantageous if we use different soaps there as well, and let them know that we're just killing ourselves with phosphates and stuff like that. So we're gonna, Mike and I worked on getting a newsletter out to let people know what's good and bad to put down the drain. Garbage disposals are not allowed in the village. Who knew that? But yeah, but yeah, we're finding out all these things. So as far as grants and stuff go, there are things out there. We did talk with Claudia Tenney's group to find out they're big on groundwater. They don't like to see anything contaminating groundwater. So we're looking at what they can afford to pass on to the village for help with that. So that's where we are. So we can help ourselves by